Hi everyone, Deana Driver here, giving you a bit of a view of Regina from Wascana Hill. There's downtown behind me, a little bit of Wascana Lake. Every tree in Regina is planted by hand. Fascinating fact that my late husband Al told me about that just inspired me. The incredible strength of Prairie people. Behind is the legislative buildings, University of Regina is back here. Such a beautiful summer day. I thought this would be a great place to read you pieces from the new book, Flight, Stories of Canadian Aviation, Volume 2. I wrote 12 of the stories in this book, and the one that I want to read you a piece of today is about a man named Ralph Tweten. Grew up in Regina, worked in northern Saskatchewan and the Arctic and Iran, and he told me a lot of really interesting stories, and one that I want to read a piece of is called MiGs, Goats, and Red Adair, from his time working in Iran with the Northern National Iranian Oil Company. So here it is, MiGs, Goats, and Red Adair, part of it. The MiG fighter jet suddenly appeared beside the aircraft. It was a warning, or was it? Ralph Tweten and his co-pilot did not know for sure, but they immediately steered their twin otter farther away from the Iraq border and continued their flight into the hills of Iran. It was the summertime of 1975, and Ralph was working for National Iranian Oil Company, flying workers and supplies in and out of an oil rig north of Abadan, Iran. He'd flown bush planes in northern Saskatchewan for almost 5 years prior to his pilot duties in Iran, so he was comfortable guiding the Twin Otter, a superb short takeoff and landing aircraft, into the hills of rural Iran. You needed experience because you had to find a flat piece of ground to land and get the oil rig crews in and out, says Ralph from his home in Calgary. To fly out again, we'd start the takeoff with zero flap to accelerate quickly, and then select takeoff flap to get airborne. We'd put the flaps down halfway through the takeoff run to lessen the drag. There were rolling hills, and you had to get your speed up and get airborne by 70 miles per hour, 62 knots. After a few trips in and back to their base in Abadan, Ralph became more used to seeing MiGs appearing at his side when he got too close to the Iran-Iraq border. We were hugging the border of Iraq to get to the rig. The border is not a straight line. It weaves in and out. Sometimes just for fun, I think. The Iraqis sent up their MiG fighters to sort of scare us and tell us to stay away from the border. No one had warned us about this. You had to go and find it out for yourself. Yes, it was unnerving, admits Ralph. They might have been doing it for a fun thing or for a training exercise. I don't think they were going to shoot us down, but they were there. I mean, it's concerning. You're in the air. It's like target practice. And you're only traveling 150 knots, so not very fast. So that's just one of the really cool stories in this book. Some of the other ones are written by my friend Will Shabund, who's a longtime Regina Leader Post journalist and an aviation enthusiast. One of the cool stories is about flying newspaperman Foster Barnsley, who I worked with at the Leader Post. My late husband Al was privileged to work with, and Foster flew as part of his work with the Saskatchewan Star Phoenix. So there's a cool story in there about that. So here we go again. Flight, Stories of Canadian Aviation, Volume 2. You can get it from DriverWorks.ca. Have a wonderful day. Here's another parting view of the beautiful city of Regina, Saskatchewan.